Call the Village of Johnsburg, February 19th, 2019, regular meeting of the present Board of Trustees to order at 7 p.m. On the roll, Trustee Hutchison.
Here.
Trustee Curry.
Here.
Trustee Hagan.
Here.
Trustee Cross.
Here.
Cross. And then Trustee Clemson.
Here.
Stand for the pledge, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
From the floor, any comments? Yes, sir.
Have a question. How's the Chapel Hill Golf Club doing for the village? Didn't we take that over?
Yes, we did.
I
And
wondered how it's doing, maybe financially for the village?
financially, it is more than covering what we owe on it.
Great.
Okay. As far as the rundown of last year, it's not ready yet, but
Oh,
we will.
I just wondered if it's doing okay, if, you know, if it's been worthwhile taking it over after this period of time.
I don't think
figured
we're not making huge amount of money with the improvements that we're doing, but we're covering all the expenses.
That's all I wanted to know. Appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can you state your name and address, please, for the record? Sorry.
Neil Herbert, 1305 Old Bay Road.
Thank you very much, Neil.
Okay.
Thanks.
Okay, can I have a motion to approve on this agenda?
So move.
Motion by Trustee Curry,
No second.
second by Trustee Hagan. Discussion on the motion. With there being none, on the roll. Trustee Hutchison.
Aye.
Trustee Curry.
Aye.
Trustee Hagan.
Aye.
Trustee Ross.
Aye.
And Trustee Clemson.
Aye.
Motion carried. On the President's report, is there any committee reports that we should have?
Tom?
No. Okay, with there being none, move on to new business. First read, no action. Move to approve ordinance 18-19-36, granting a variance to 11.4-3.4 of the Johnsburg zoning ordinance for property commonly known as the Johnsburg Dental Center property, 4113 North Johnsburg Road. You have a no action. So, discussion on the motion. Mary Lou.
I have a question.
Yes.
How is that, I read the notes that from the zoning, when you went for that report, and how does what they approve impact your building design? Because you were requesting a 5-foot setback, and they approved 10-foot, is that correct?
No, I don't understand the question, I'm sorry.
Does it change anything in terms of your addition and the size and the impact of?
I just drew those by hand just to help out.
Okay.
So originally I wanted to try to go about 8 or 9 feet, but
Okay.
because of the setback,
Mhm.
so I need to keep within 10 feet.
Mhm.
And so I was like, okay, so I would just angle it a little bit.
And does that impact the amount of chairs that you're going to be putting in that, or is it?
Not really. It makes it a little tighter,
Mhm.
but it's still doable.
Okay.
So, and it was my understanding, this is really fun,
Mhm.
but it was my understanding that I could go back as far as I wanted to, as long as I didn't encroach upon the 10 feet.
Okay, and there was some issue with it being utility easement there,
Correct.
right? Okay.
Correct.
So you're okay then with the recommendation?
Yeah, I'm fine. Yeah, I'm fine. Yeah, that's all fine. You guys understand it?
Yes, Sanford read it.
We have this drawing here.
Yeah, I
So
just,
you're just gonna take back this line instead and then draw it back with a box?
That's what I wanted to do,
Okay.
but so that, see that corner?
Oh, okay.
You know, between the fence.
I see, so you're just
So what I did is
Flip
I
the
just,
corner off.
I just drew a little red line here.
Sure, sure.
So it's not ideal, but currently, you know, like if I want to, I can go farther back.
Right, make a little triangle there or something.
I don't know, I need to get an architect involved.
Sure.
At least now I know, or at least I'm trying to know what is doable,
Mhm.
and then I would move forward, that's all.
Okay. All right. That makes sense, thanks.
You don't want to put the cart before the horse.
Yeah.
Well,
Get it in the right order, right?
yeah, I mean, I did have an architect just draw up something real basic for the,
Any other concerns that we could investigate and have ready for approval at the next meeting?
Did any residents come to you at all?
No.
Right on this or so? Any complaints? Okay, thanks.
and I did mail it all.
Yeah, you mailed it the certified mail. Perfect, thank you.
But I'd have Frank and I take a look at it, and we saw no problems with the zoning board's recommendation.
Any other concerns? Thank you very much.
That's it?
We'll approve it at the next meeting, but there's no other concerns.
It's a first read tonight.
First read tonight.
But-
Okay.
So if they have any other concerns, they'll bring them back. We'll
That's
get
fine.
the answers from you,
I
but...
know where I'm at.
Yep. I don't think there's gonna be any. I wouldn't worry about it, but...
Okay.
We just, do the first read and the second read in case at midnight one of these guys wake up and they're all concerned about it. So
Got
I'm
it.
sure we'll be-
Got it.
Kind of a toothache.
Toothache? Yeah, toothache, call them up. No, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, it should work out, should work out fine.
Thanks,
That's
Dr.
our
Thank you.
344. Uh-oh, toothache. Fake number. No, actually, the number, I didn't even ask for it, I just go, you know, whatever. Have a nice night.
Night,
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Yeah,
Thank you.
good night.
Thank you.
Okay, next thing is residential refuse and recycling services. I don't know if you want to bring that out.
Yeah,
Ray,
yeah, I'll
because
introduce-
you,
yeah, sure.
you've met already with one.
Yeah.
So why don't you?
Sure. I'm going to introduce Vaughn Kirschner, right, if I pronounce you all right, from Waste Management here tonight. He brought some things to you. He's met with my committee, so I'll let Vaughn go ahead and present first on his proposal he sent over to Claudette in November.
Well, thank you for giving me the opportunity tonight to be here. It's a pleasure to be here. The Village of Johnsburg and Waste Management have a long history together, and we really appreciate the partnership that we have with the village and the community. I'll pass these out things quick.
Thank you.
Haven't had a chance to be here before, and again, I really appreciate the opportunity to come before you and talk a little bit about recycling.
Thanks.
You're welcome. So over the last year, 2018, a lot has happened in the recycling industry, so much so that it's really become an unprecedented change that is going to impact recycling as we know it. It's going to have long-lasting effect on the recycling market and really have us look at the sustainability of recycling programs. So what happened? In 2018, the recycling industry changed, and it's really a global issue. It's not just something here in Illinois, Midwest, U.S., it's a global issue. China, the world's largest importer of recycled material, upwards over 50% of the material, in the world was going to China. Last year changed the guidelines on what is acceptable. Before last year, acceptable contamination was 10 to 15%, in that range. Okay? To give you a perspective, the national average in the U.S. is 25% contamination. So 1 in every 4 items that's put in the recycling container is a contaminant. So now, last year, China said, okay, these are the new guidelines. The new guidelines they stated is 0.5 0.5 recycling contamination that will be accepted. That's an unattainable goal. So, if you look at what the national average here in the U.S. is, what the new guideline is, quite a gap. So that's why it's really been an unprecedented change and really changed the recycling industry as we know it. You know, one of the things that we've found is that other markets outside of China, such as India, Indonesia, those type of markets, the other markets that we look at are also following suit. So this new guideline of 0.5% is now becoming the norm. How has this affected haulers, processors? It's affected them in different ways. Of course, the commodity markets have really been depressed. It now costs as much or more to get rid of recycling as if you were to, you know, throw it in the hole or put it in the landfill. That's how much things have changed. So if you think back a couple of years, we used to get maybe about $20 a ton for residential recycling mix. It's now costing upwards of $50 a ton to get rid of it. So a $70 delta right there. Higher transportation costs. So one of the things that when we ship material overseas in the big cargo containers, one of the first things they do is they open up the door and they do a sniff test. So if it has any, you know, smell of garbage, the door is closed and it comes back. So that's how things are really changing in that market. So we have to pay transportation costs not only there, but then coming back as well. And we really try and make sure that the stuff that we send them is good material. Higher processing costs. Because of these changes, we're slowing down our processing lines. We're adding manpower, and as a result, too, we're getting more residual waste. You know, pulling all the contamination out of the recycling waste stream. So then it has to go to the landfill. So what is the answer? Several things. One is education, and two is cost. I'll start with the education, and I shared some of the material with you, and just like to go over it with you a little bit. With this change, our company really took a look at what could we do to help educate residents. And we know residents want to do the right thing. They're just confused. A lot has changed from 20, 25 years ago when recycling started. Products have changed, packaging has changed, how it's picked up has changed, how it's processed has changed. So there's a lot of lists out there, there's a lot of recycling symbols, so we wanted to make it very simple. In the middle section of your pamphlet, if you open it up, the middle section, we're trying to get 3 simple basic rules. Try to eliminate all the confusion. Recycle all bottles, cans, paper. Keep items clean and dry, and no plastic bags. What do you think the biggest contaminant is in the recycling stream? Plastic bags, exactly. If you take a look at this picture, I think Kim put it on your packet, hopefully. This is a picture of one of our recycling MRFs. It's a material recovery facility. And this one's over in Grays Lake. So we have 2 shifts, 3 breaks in each shift. So every break on every shift, we have to have guys take knives and cut off all the plastic bags that get wrapped around the gears. If we didn't do that, the equipment would just shut down. And it has shut down. So that's how many plastic bags are going through. So if we could get rid of one item, that would be a huge win. It'd be plastic bags. Now, we're not saying they're not recyclable. They are. You can take them back to your supermarket, your box store, things like that, but we just don't want them in the curbside program. The same can be said of bagging your recyclables. Who bags your recyclables? I did. So I would bag my recyclables. It was convenient. Tie it up, put it in the recycle cart. Last year, of course, though, I learned that the bags are a big issue. And so what we do now is we still bag it, but we take it, dump it out into the cart, and then either, you know, recycle the bag or throw it out. Okay? So This is probably our, excuse me, our most common, or I should say favorite recycling piece, or popular, that's the word I was trying to look for, popular recycling piece. Talks about the 10 most common contaminants. Again, the first one, plastic bags. The second one, food and liquid. Right behind plastic bags, the next biggest contaminant is food and liquid. You wouldn't believe what we get. You know, half full jars of spaghetti sauce. You know, peanut butter jar is still full. You know, a Coke bottle is still full. Even a water bottle, you know, like these, we need those cleaned out. Even the clean water can cause issues. So, again, outside of plastic bags, we ask that things are clean and dry. But then some of the other things we see, when I was over there a couple months back, we had a 96-gallon cart just from that week full of camping propane tanks. Well, it's metal, it's recyclable. But if those things were to get into the recycling machinery, that could be very dangerous for our guys. And we've had fires in our facilities already. So, again, education is so important, and I've been working with staff, sharing things with them this past year, and hopefully, you know, they've been sharing it with you and the residents, asking them to put information not only on the website and newsletters, but moving forward, really have to really re-emphasize the education with the residents. Another thing I wanted to share with you is this brief. It is from the National Waste and Recycling Association, NWRA, a national organization, and they just put a brief out about what has happened in China with recycling. So I'm not going to go through it, but I encourage you to read that. I also wanted to share with you this article. Hopefully you got that article from Kim as well. This article is about the city of Kankakee and their hauler, Republic. Republic went into the city and says, we can no longer provide recycle service to the town. Their contamination rate was over 70%. And they said, we'll provide you roll-off, drop-off containers, but if you can't keep that clean, we no longer can recycle in your town. So that has happened locally here. And again, it's not just a local issue. This is a national, global issue. And everybody is affected, and we all need to work together. Yes, sir.
Just have a quick question.
Yes.
You said Kankakee was at 70%. Would you happen to know what Johnsburg's at?
Not at this point.
Okay.
It takes time to do audits, and we are, you know, moving along as we go.
Okay.
So we'll have that for you at some point. It's a good question.
Or a comment.
Yes.
In your situation, why don't you go to the grade schools and have a program with the kids and say, hey, tell your folks not to this, and this, because kids are very, whoa, yeah.
Yep, that's a great point. Part of this whole recycle off and recycle right program that we rolled out, it does have a grade school up to middle school education program. And if you go on the website, you can get a lot of material in it. And we're open to do any presentations, and I've shared this with Claudette, any presentations to committees, groups, you know, whatever it might be. So one of the things that our recycling director for our area said is we have to get away from wishful recycling to recycling right. You know, and I think that was really a good comment. It's a couple of things I want to share with you. When in doubt, throw it out. If you even have to think about it, just throw it out. Again, that's, if you want to, well, this is a plastic toy. Yeah, I'm going to put it in because it's plastic. Yeah, but it's a different kind of plastic. We're focused on just the bottles, like the pop bottles, milk bottles, the water bottles, the common things. So those are the types of things that we're really looking for. So the education component is really critical and something we really have to work together and partner with. So, yes?
I just wanted to make an observation, and that is when recycling first started out years and years ago. I remember living on the East Coast. They were very strict about separating. You know, you had paper here, and you had your aluminum cans here, and you had your plastic bottles here. And it's kind of instilled a discipline in people that really then were very clear on what went where. And if in fact it wasn't separated, they didn't pick it up. So you really kind of knew quickly what you had to do. And I think at the point when it just all became combined, people not only lost that focus of what was recycled and what wasn't, but they just got lazy and they just started not cleaning their stuff and just throwing it all in. Was there any thought to going back to that, like separating into those categories?
I mean, that's really a great comment, and I agree with you that when it started, there was that focus, and we've just progressed away. And it's going to take a while to get back and educate residents. But what has happened since the beginning is to keep costs down, processes have changed, automation has happened. So that's why you have the commingled recycle cart, and as long as it's clean and dry and all the right things are going in there, it's good. But as you said, people have just lost focus. They want to wishful recycle. The recycle cart's closer than the garbage cart. You know, it's that whole thing, the convenience of it. You know, we're a throwaway society, so you know, you walk out of the house, the recycle cart's there. I'm just going to toss it in there. We find bags of garbage all the time in a recycle cart, and I don't think it'll go back to what you're saying, but that's where we want to get to, is getting back to clean material, and part of that
focuses people, you know, rather than having somebody like take a key to stop it. I'd almost think, well, would they try to separate and just refocus their people before they did that?
Well, I think they tried, but it just wasn't going anywhere. Yeah, it just wasn't going anywhere, but good question. So, as I mentioned, education is so important, and I want to work with, and our company wants to work with the staff and the board and the town, you know, educating the residents and helping them understand what is recyclable and what isn't. So, because recycling is important, we need to do it. We need to do it. The second part is cost. So there's two parts to the cost. The first part is in the current contract, Johnsburg gets a small rebate every quarter for recycling. It's just based on tonnage, and it's $1 that's fixed to that tonnage. It averages about $210 a month. Based on where the market is, we as Waste Management can no longer provide that rebate, because again, it's costing us upwards of $50 to get rid of the material process and get rid of it. So that's the first step, is just wanted to share with you the recycled rebate portion. That would require an amendment, you know, to the contract. We can work that up and you know, send you over a copy about that. The second part is a rate increase. As I mentioned, with the change that's happened in the recycling industry, costs have skyrocketed. And I shared with Claudette and also with the Finance Committee a letter, and it talked about what is happening again and the costs associated with it. And the increase that we're looking for is $1.96 per home per month to offset the recycling increase. So, again, three things in answer to what has transpired with the recycling industry. One is education, which, again, is very important and we'll work together on. Two is eliminating recycle rebates, and then the third one is the rate increase. And I'll answer any questions that you may have. Otherwise, I thank you very much.
Any questions? Now, Mary Lou, you guys from the Finance Committee did this the first time, right? And then re-upped. I'll pass this out to all you guys down here too. So Kim provided for us too. So everybody take one copy of each. So originally I think it was in 2010, but then in 2014 we did sign into a 7-year agreement that, and you're on the Finance Committee, that you signed in with the rebate too, right, Mary Lou?
Yep.
I think, okay. Let me just take one. I'll pass these over to you guys too, sorry. so you guys can have a copy of this. And then the second thing, Vaughn, I'm providing this, what you kind of gave Kim for the justification of the $1.96 increase.
Oh, right.
For
The
spreadsheet,
worksheet?
so they can see that,
The
too.
worksheet?
Yeah, I'll pass it over to them so they can kind of see it, so they can see the contract. And then, so every year it does go up, so we were in a 7-year term that would go up. Every year we had a fixed amount would go up, and then you guys could do, if you wanted to increase 3% on any of the containers and everything else too as well. So the trustees are getting this for the first time to see this, sorry. Some have already done this in the past and never seen it, but,
Excuse me, Greg, did you give them that worksheet that I shared with you? Did you
yeah,
say?
this one right here. This is one you did, or something like that, the cost right here, that's showing the $1.96.
Oh, that one, yes. It's
Yeah.
just a little different format than
Okay.
what I had, yeah.
Maybe Kim changed it, but that's what she gave me tonight,
Okay.
so we can kind of see that. That comes with the dollar, so the material stream value was $1.57 or so. Processing cost was 5 cents, residual was 28, fixed cost was 6 cents. That's giving us $1.96 extra per month. So wanted to provide that to you guys, so you guys can all see that tonight too as well. I don't know if anybody else has, do you guys have any other questions yet, or do you want me to talk from the finance committee perspective or so?
Well, my only question is, how does this revert back, or is it possible for this to revert back? I mean, somebody will probably, I would imagine, take the place of Chinese in terms of wanting this material. I imagine they wanted it for some reason.
Well, yeah, the Chinese, like I said, we're the largest importer. They actually want to be self-sustainable by 2020, 2021. In other words, they won't take any more. So other markets, like I said, are India, Indonesia. We're having to cultivate and develop new markets as we speak. So being the largest recycler, we have a lot of good markets, but even so, you know, this has affected us, and so we're trying to develop new markets as we speak.
So is there any foreseeable end to this?
I was at a conference, trustees, about actually more than that, 3 or 4 months ago. It was a SWANA. I don't know if you're familiar with the group SWANA. It's a local recycling organization. Actually, it's national, but it was for the local branch. And it was about recycling. They were talking about recycling. And a local recycling processor got up and said, the change is so significant that this is the new recycling. The costs are not going to go away. This is, you know, the new change. So, yep. Greg, here was the actual.
Oh, yeah, all right, thank you. I can make copies of these guys too. So she just broke it down.
Yeah,
into
she just took
sub-counts.
it, yeah.
Sub-counts.
Yeah.
I'll make sure I get a copy to you guys on this too.
Yes.
So, I can actually pass it down so they can see it too.
What is the material stream value? That may be different on that sheet.
Yeah, it's quite different. You can see the sheet there.
$1.57.
Yeah, he's got a breakdown of it right here.
Yeah, $1.57. Processing cost, 5 cents, and then residual cost, 28 cents, and then fixed cost, 6 cents.
I have a question for you, Mon.
Yep.
Now, obviously, I think you've been approaching other villages or cities with this too.
Mhm.
What has been their reaction to it so far?
Same as yours, a lot of questions. We have some that have approved the increase, some that have not. I'll be honest with you. The ones that have had rebates, which aren't many, I've already met with one and they approved the elimination of that. So we're meeting with all our communities on it.
Sure. So it's just not Johnsburg in general, you're going to
No.
every
No.
community that waste management, at least in your sector, what
Correct.
you're calling on? Okay.
Yep.
And the rebate was how much again? 250?
It's about, yeah, 200, 210 a month. As I mentioned, I would say those are two separate things to look at, you know, the rebates and the rate increase.
So overall, with the rebate and the rate increase, it's approximately $50,000 that you guys are picking up?
That's what I thought.
Well,
Rental,
residents,
yeah.
Yeah, residents you have in town,
198.
yeah, it's around, I had about 17 as far as we were picking up. Actually, I'm sorry, 1,900. homes that we pick up.
Just 45,552,
Right.
and then the rebate roughly 49,000.
Yep.
So you guys want to amend the contract, which we currently have with you right now?
Well, definitely for the recycle rebate, as I mentioned, two different things. And then for the increase, I'm sure that would probably need an amendment as well. And I've done that with the ones that have agreed to it. So.
How many years we got left with the contract?
2021.
2021.
2021?
Yeah.
About a year and a half,
Yep.
And
November,
then,
right?
what's the
11/30
increase
at
for the remaining
21.
year?
11/30 at 2021.
Okay.
Yeah, so there's a step right there.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
So every year goes up approximately,
Maybe.
right?
Is this proposed for each year of the remainder of the contract, or is this
Just a one-time.
Just one,
Just one time. Yep.
But it is step, Mary Lou, so, yeah, so we picked
Yeah.
up that on top.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Greg, in your comparison of finances, didn't you do other communities?
Yeah, we looked at other ones too, so we saw that, you know, kind of we're in line today. I mean, Waste Management's been a great strategic partner, helped us on a lot of their events. We appreciate Juan for all that he's done and everything else too, when we call on different things and events, Juan's also there to help us as well. But we did look at other contracts in the area, and we're pretty much middle of the road. We have a pretty good deal, as we're seeing right now today in some aspects, but other communities, you know, Waste Management has lost contracts and other recycling vendors and refuge contractors right now too, so, in the area. So there, other places have put it up for bid. Currently, I think Ringwood and us are the ones in McHenry County right now that are using Waste Management. I'm not sure if you have.
Yeah, Hebron, is Hebron McHenry County?
Yes, Hebron is too, that's correct too. So it's Hebron, Ringwood, and Johnsburg currently are using Waste Management today.
And, well, none of the township's part of McHenry.
Yeah.
So, we have a separate contract with
Yeah,
them.
we didn't have a comparison on Nunda, so we saw kind of where we're at. No, Ringwood just recently signed in with you guys
Yep.
a couple years ago, maybe a year and a half, 2 years ago, so, I know Vaughn's calling upon them to Ringwood to look at the rate increase. The Finance Committee spent a lot of great time, we appreciate Vaughn's time in talking, but we did come up with a recommendation to say no to both things. Thinking contractually that we're under contract till 2021, that was kind of, you know, we have a lot of bankers and different people on that committee looking through everything today. Some of the questions that came up too is if let's say China started buying things and the money started coming back more, would Waste Management come back and say, we'll give you $400 a month now because we're making money? So that's the question too. So, I mean, we didn't see it, it's a one-time sort too. Also, I did some more research today. Waste Management, you guys are knocking out of the ballpark. I mean, they had sometimes their all-time record highs. So last year, Waste Management grew at 22%. Their stock's at almost only $2 off its high price right now. So they've had record gains. So it's not like Waste Management's going into bankruptcy or different things too. So we looked at that, coming through that too, and I can provide that from the AP's report here. Just came out on Valentine's Day talking about that. So Waste Management's doing very well overall financially. They actually increased their dividends. So, I mean, those things we did look at when we're taking this consideration of this. And so it's not a small company in Johnsburg, so it'd be like something small, and obviously if something would happen, if fixed costs would have went upside down or something, it might have been a little understandable, but this is an S&P 500, probably a top 100 company in the United States, so we're looking at that too, and we did sign this agreement on 7 years, on maybe look at Mary Lou too, because they asked for us to go longer, right, I think.
We did go longer, and there were a lot of variables that played into that, and I'm just wondering, we have till 2020, what was it?
2021.
Yeah, November 2021.
21. You know, so I have some thoughts about it, I don't know if I just want to share.
Oh, yeah, please do, yeah, you were on the committee at the time. so
I mean, I know it's one of those pay me now, pay me later, you know, kind of thing, unless there's a viable alternative at the end, when we reach 2021, that can really service us,
True.
you know, kind of thing. So, you know, it's kicking the can down the road a little bit, but we do have a contract, so, you know, it's kind of on the fence right now about how I feel about it. I've read a lot about the recycling issue in China, and, I mean, it's real, it's not fabricated, it's a real deal, so, again, you know, we could pay a little now and take a lesser hit at renewal time and not feel the pain as much, or we just stick it out where we are and it'll be a greater, because I think they're going to get their money either way. They're going to get their money either way.
Sure. And, yeah, we did realize that. I mean, I was shocked when Vaughn opened my eyes that night when he met with us, and a lot of us went, really, we didn't know we could do that. You know what I mean, so I think it's just education is number one on recycling. But are we gonna ever get to the, what, 0.1 or whatever percent that China wants, is probably almost impossible when we look at that number. It was kind of our discussion for like 20 minutes in the finance committee, because even if you tell people wash stuff out, clean it out, don't put it, you're almost going into those different things that are gonna divide it, just to make sure, like you mentioned, like out East Coast, is that, to get to that remedy. So, it's hard to look at that, you know what I mean? So how do we police that? We've been doing better, you've probably seen some more e-blasts, that's why it was in there in December or January in our e-blasts, and also into some of our newsletters, trying to educate the public after we met. We're like, well, we really want to help waste management to help with this problem, we understand. So we're on board with that portion of it, but the rate increase was kind of harder to take, because contractually we're in a contract, you know, so if we would do that as a village and tell somebody that too, that'd be hard, that we would honor our contract as well. So that was kind of our thoughts when we went through his recommendation.
And I think if we're going to take any action in terms of helping educate the public, I think we need to tie the fact that it's going to cost them more money. So,
Yeah,
you know what I
absolutely,
mean? It's
yeah.
not just about, we're just want to be nice people to lower that percent of dirty waste, if you will. But it's all about costing more money.
Right. It'll be hard too.
Maybe prepare them that that's coming down the road.
Right. And when
That increase.
they start doing their audits, I'm sure they're gonna start tagging people's things when they see that's not good, and we're gonna have a lot of calls. We've already factored some of that in our conversation too, like how people are gonna call Village Hall complaining that waste management didn't pick up. Obviously, the stuff was probably contaminated,
Right.
but is that the only way they're gonna learn too? We talked about that, it's kinda like, do you have to be penalized, enforcement, unfortunately, because then when they learn that the first week it's not picked up, then they realize, oh, I need to do it differently and fix it this way to help kind of, you know, jerk it back into position correctly.
It's funny you say that, if I can just interject, when we roll this program out, we found that there's like 3 groups. There's the tell me, you know, tell me how to do it, I'll do it. Then the show me, and then of course the last group, which is the make me. And those are the ones that come along kicking and screaming, and sometimes you never get them. But I think to your point, it's going to take some time. And I appreciate the partnership we have, and I appreciate you and the Finance Committee investing all the time, you know, researching this. You know, disappointed, and I guess I would just ask, Greg, if you could separate the two, at least the rebate, because the rebate is, you know, just something that, because the markets are flipped upside down, we just have a hard time, you know, paying that out. And I would ask you just to at least reconsider that.
Sure. And mine's just from the Finance Committee, so they will vote on too, and how if they feel ready tonight to vote on. This is a lot to take, I know for you guys to take tonight and all the information, so you might need another meeting to just like we told the gentleman on Conrad about the same thing, you might need some time to digest all this.
And I understand that.
I think we really need to work with you a little bit more in our community and schools. I think it starts at the lower levels with the kids. I've had a teacher reach out and they're looking for projects for the kids to get involved in. So I'm going to sort of spearhead and get back with her and get in touch and work a recycling program in every school that really teaches kids how to recycle the proper way. That's something I feel we could do good.
Yeah.
I think I'm in agreement with you to give the bonus back, but I wouldn't want to hit my taxpayers and have them hand over money to a multi-billion-dollar company like Waste Management when you guys are doing good. Greg's committee has shown that proof, and thank you for doing that. You know, but we'd still like to work with that. That's how I'm feeling right now. You know, help you guys out, but it really starts from the bottom. It's educating our kids.
Exactly.
Because they're the future. They're the ones that are going to grow up, and if they don't know what they're doing, the plant's only going to get worse.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
I agree with you.
I think Mary Lou's point is very well taken, and so is Kyle's and Greg's, you know, that you're either going to pay now or pay later. But in comparison to what other communities are paying, what the township is paying other carriers, I think we got to be honest with ourselves. I mean, the township uses group, you know, and they're paying about $22 a month for unlimited pickup and the curbside lease service. Okay, so we get a 35-gallon can, right, where you pay for that extra. Well, if we'd add $1.96 to that, we'd be at $21.05. We don't have curbside leaf
And
pickup.
not unlimited either.
And we don't have unlimited.
Right.
So now if you pay the tag, which is, what is the tag, $380?
Mhm.
I don't even know, $380. I believe.
Something's $3 and something.
$380, I think it's $380.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, 390.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you took the $17.25 we're paying a month, put $1.96 on it, you're at $21.05 versus $22. We don't have leaf pickup, and we don't have, unlimited, you know? So, you know, I think we gotta work with Waste Management. We've had a great relationship. We wanna educate people, but, we're not getting the same service when we get up to that dollar amount. Okay, I'm not against, you know, working with them and
Right.
educating people, but I think that's a good comparison, because we have streets in our village that intertwine right with the same people. How do we justify that to our residents?
Right.
You know? So, I don't feel comfortable voting on it until, you know, we nail down those figures and knowing what, exactly what all the options are and what everybody else is paying, because, you know, we'll have people beating down the door here.
Yeah, it's already enough heat when we gave the garbage bill back.
Right.
You know?
And
Right.
a lot of families still, you know, people are doing better, but they feel this is a tax, you know what I mean? So it's like utility, you probably saw it, Vaughn, having utilities linked up here, and people were irate, you know what I mean? So a lot of it.
We got a few calls.
So, yeah, so I mean, utilities linked, so this would bring a lot of conversation, you know, people
Sure.
have heard about this, and they will now, because it's public record as of tonight, so, you know, there will be a lot of concern on this, even, it doesn't sound like a lot of amount, but it is a lot to some people.
I understand.
So it adds
Well,
up.
it's asking for it on both ends too. It's asking
Yep.
for a rate increase and more work into putting into your garbage. So, and I certainly agree that it needs to happen, but at the same time, it's, you know, it certainly is not gonna go over well, because it's just one more thing.
Right.
You know, so.
And
I do agree with Mary Lou, though, when it started, where you would sort stuff.
Right.
That's part of the problem, you know?
Yeah, nobody sorts anything.
Yeah,
They just-
and you're not sorting everything, you're just throwing it all in there.
You know, the other thing, Ed, was that, well, obviously it was a cost saving for the time to go from unlimited to limited, which we needed at the time, and you really were the most competitive. And there was other companies like Group Press that couldn't really service our town, and, you know, didn't have the capability to come in and make that change. But we were very hopeful that having 35 gallons would force people and motivate them to recycle, so that they would stick to that 35. And I'm just wondering, that probably works for the majority, but I just wonder how many people throw their junk in because they don't want to buy the sticker,
Garbage can
the
is
extra
full.
can. So, you know, I don't know if there's a way to compare, you know, what our contamination rate was before compared to now, but I'm just kind of wondering how many people say, well, I'm not going to go get a sticker, I'll just throw it into recycling.
Recycling. So do we create a problem? by
Yeah,
doing
you know, I
it?
mean, the idea was motivation. Obviously, we need to save money when we did it, but, and it was a cost savings, but I'm just wondering if that's backfired.
Well, actually, that's a very, very good point. Sticker programs are, there's not too many anymore.
Right.
And most everyone's moving away from that towards either a unlimited or some kind of hybrid program.
And the roll-up
Right.
roll-up.
Right.
So,
So,
we had unlimited before when we
We
did,
did.
before we implemented, we took off the sanitation tax on the bill,
And it was a big cost savings at the time.
$300,000, if I remember, or $350, that we saved the village.
Well, we saved a lot, yeah, but we saved a lot of money also to go to a limited service of 35 gallons versus unlimited. That was a crucial decision to do it. However, anyway, I'm just curious as to how much of that is expired.
I wouldn't be able to go back and check contamination back, but my point was going to be is that when you have a sticker, anytime you have a sticker program, as the sticker rates go up, you'll see more of a tendency of people putting
Sure.
garbage in the
Yeah.
recycling bin. And so it's something we see in any type of sticker town.
I just wonder if just, converting at some point to the rollouts, the bigger
Bigger carts.
carts, yeah, if that isn't something to consider in the future.
There's additional cost, right, because you guys charge for the 96 toter or whatever, that big one? or
Just
something?
depends, Greg, on the program you got.
Okay.
Um,
That'd be more like unlimited almost, probably at that level, right, so it's so big.
Typically, you go with, if you go with 96, it's traditionally like an unlimited,
Yeah.
but you can do hybrid programs or different things, so. But
If we thought going to unlimited would help the situation overall, and it makes sense to review the whole contract prior to the end of this contract.
I don't know that it's going to help the situation overall, because when people have unlimited, then they really get lazy. And we were told by Waste Management that having limited was a good motivator. In most cases, I have to believe it probably is, in most cases, but I'm sure there's a certain amount of people that just don't want that sticker thing.
When you go with the unlimited too, I think what Mary Lou, when they investigated the last time around, was that everybody throws everything in,
Exactly.
there's no recycling.
There is no recycling, and that's what Waste Management told us was happening in the community. They saw an uptick in recycling once there was limited.
Of course, that was before the problem with China now not taking recycling, so there's no money back for waste management, so would it be better just to, like what you saw with Kankakee, what he provided
I
tonight?
mean, things change, right? So I think before the next negotiations, there's all those things to look into.
We have a current president today who's not, environmental, there's certain things that are benefiting waste management
Right.
today, but if things change down the road,
Right.
they could tighten
Right.
it again, and then they're going to want everybody to recycle. I mean, it just matters on some political
And
direction too.
And as far as I know, there is no oversight. We don't, once it gets to China, nobody knows what happens. They dump it in the ocean. We have no oversight, no end game there.
Yeah. And there's a lot of recycling in the ocean, so we see that with stuff going on.
Again, I just want to thank you. A lot of great discussion, and I know a lot was shared with you tonight. I'd ask you to think about it. If you have questions, feel free. And again, I just want to, end in saying that, Waste Management really appreciates the partnership that we've had with, Johnsburg, and, we look forward to that continuing, so.
Thanks for
Thank
your
you.
time.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Thank you. Thanks, Juan, for coming. Appreciate it. Thank you. So can we move to table it next meeting or so?
Yeah, we're gonna table it.
We're tabling it, okay.
I think everybody's gotta get this. Thank you.
There's a lot to read.
Well, that's something that's not up to the village, put them in our bills.
Okay,
Because, one other one doesn't understand.
liquor license fees.
And-
Greg, you wanna give a lead on this?
Yep, I'll take it.
Okay, so-
This is going to correlate with Mary Lou's group to an ordinance too, because I think the ordinance committee is going to review this on Thursday as well. So the finance committee, we had our meeting this month, we reviewed the liquor license and some of the things, so you guys see in front of you some of the increases, we want to increase it. So I was talking to Kim today, and when we looked at some of it too, I believe our liquor license, what we can find is from 2008, we haven't changed our prices for liquor license. So in conjunction with some of the increases in fees, is because we're a non-home rule community, we can't charge the video gaming machines can only be charged at $25 a year per machine, but as McHenry is charging $500 per machine and everything else too.
Because
So
they're home rule.
they're home rule. So some of the consideration we thought to raising these up by 500 and 250 is because of the fact that they have machines in these establishments. And they're making money, we can't obviously charge for the machines. This is before we even had machines allowed in the village when we did our liquor license. We also can provide you guys, showing you what other villages and non-home rule are charging, and you can see we are probably some of the lowest for some of these Class A, Class A1, and Class B licenses in the area too. So we just have never increased it over time. We're at our capacity, I think, right for all liquor licenses right now, or at least in most categories, so.
Yes, we are.
So if somebody wanted to increase this, or another bar comes, or something wanted, you'd have to then increase the level up to allow that too. So, so you see that first sheet she provided, kind of the ordinance here, this is kind of what we're proposing. So, any questions on that?
really, the fees you're proposing are in line with the fees without the video gaming.
That's correct,
You
yeah.
know, I mean, so, my only concern was that maybe it would deter somebody looking at our community for a restaurant or a bar, or a bar, or an eating establishment that we all want to have. So, I don't think the fees would curtail any of that, because we're still in line with everybody else, and we're just picking up the difference, maybe a little bit, not the difference, but a little bit of the difference of the video gaming, so I definitely think that it's worth consideration.
From the daily permit fee is going quite so much.
So we are at, well, today we're at actually, we're at $100 today, actually. So I think she mistyped 25. It's actually,
Is that right now?
yeah, it's 100 right now, I think. If you look at the first chart there, Josh, it is 100 today.
Okay.
So I don't know if the ordinance was incorrect, and then we'll have to change that in the ordinance. I think that's what, so these are two different sheets, I'm sorry. So one of them will be the ordinance document, where we are charging $100 today.
I think Class B, just cut out the per day and event on there.
Yeah, I mean, so, yeah, that's what she's out, we're doing $12.50. So Class B would be like your grocery stores and retail, non-video gaming. So that wouldn't be like the BP here is obviously a Class A license, so it could be able to serve alcohol, we have the gaming machines. So it'd be like your Walmart and other Angelo's and stuff, other gas stations that don't have video gaming machines. But yeah, that's what she's proposing. The ordinance would then take out the event permit, $100 per day, and then she's moving in the daily permit to $100. That's what she's doing with that. So she's kind of crossing it out. Sorry, long answer.
No, you're good.
Michael correct me with the legalese here in a minute, so.
I understand.
Go in circles.
This is what the finance is proposing?
Yeah, we went through that just last Monday, so we went through this and kind of got this out. And part of the reason we're bringing this in front of you guys, and that's why ordinance is seeing this on Thursday, is that things go out in May. So if you want to do the increases for the liquor license and everything, so if you want to get
We
this.
still got time.
We still have time, so, if
Okay.
but we want to get this out sooner than, not a lot of time, we want to get this out sooner than later, because you don't want to be looking.
When we send the renewals out, we want to, you know,
Sure.
send the letter that there's increases on all that stuff, and
Seems like we're on the high end with the nonprofit, is that right? At $100?
For the daily permit?
Yeah.
Yeah. And also, if you look at Class C as well, we didn't touch, but we're at $1,000 for the outside vendor
Yeah,
catering.
those were the two that jumped out with me, but, you know, like, it seems like we're, you know, $1,000, and unfortunately my printer, I think that's Marengo, is at $1,500?
Mhm.
So Marengo is the only one higher than us. And Lake in the Hills is even with us. Everybody else is well below us, it looks like.
Yeah, we didn't have a lot of discussion on that, but.
The Class C, outside vendor catering.
Ed, would that be any bigger events we would do that we would charge $1,000? Why we did that so high like that back in the day or so?
No, there's
You know, I don't know if
there's
we
nobody
go-
in that category.
I don't know if
Daily permits.
Pardon me?
In the outside vendor catering, Class C, there's nobody in that category. We have one available and it's not issued.
So that'd be like a golf, like a cart kind of thing, like something like that, like a
Then that'd be like a
food truck kind of
catering
thing?
company, wouldn't it?
Catering company?
I don't think we've ever issued, as long as I can remember, ever doing one.
Like a
Because it's
$2,000.
$1,000.
Yeah, that's right, nobody wants that, you just go for a Class A.
Most of the events that, well.
Well, how does that work at the wine tasting then, you know?
That's a
One day.
nonprofit one day.
So one day.
They'd be $100.
It'd be like, what, Marvella's or something
Like
like
Marvella's,
that.
that's what I'm
That would-
thinking, yeah.
That would have multiple events throughout a year, but would have a full year liquor license, I would think.
Like the community club's Class A, right, so.
Well, the community club and yacht club, I think, and the Moose, probably, we have 3 non-profit.
They're
liquor
Class A,
licenses.
yeah, because we're
Right.
serving.
Well, do we not have anybody because it's $1,000? I mean,
Possibly, yeah, I don't know of any catering companies.
yeah, I
in
don't know
town.
either, I mean, it's not, there's a lot of
Well, I don't think there'd be any harm in looking at, you know, like Tom's got a good point. Is there any harm in making it in line with some of the lower ones? What do we have to lose? We don't issue it anyway.
Yeah, that's not one
And
there.
if somebody comes forward and wants one, it's money in the bank, actually, it's a bonus, you know, so I'm not objecting to doing that at all. And to Tom's point, maybe that's the reason, or Josh's point, maybe that's the reason we've never issued one.
Yeah, it'd be more in line like Spring Grove or McHenry at 250,
Yeah.
get something.
I like the annual plus even the per event, you know?
Yeah.
Either.
Like Huntley has?
Huntley has that, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, if they keep doing it, then maybe they work themselves up to 1,000 bucks or something.
Right.
Because you don't have to do it
It
every
doesn't
weekend.
hurt 'em up front.
Change the ordinance, yeah.
It doesn't hurt them up front, but
Right.
they pick up their business to be paying, so I like that idea. Anyway,
And the daily permit is and has been 100, right?
Mhm.
Yes.
Because that's high in comparison to other similar sized.
Yeah, except for Marengo's like 300 bucks.
And they're out of control.
I mean, some villages and cities make it really hard to get liquor licenses sometimes too, so, you know, that hasn't been our
I
approach.
think
in
it's
Johnsburg,
all,
but,
depends on the event.
Yeah, right.
Right?
Right, yeah.
Depends on the event that you want to.
Sure.
I'm just trying to think of who applies for a one-day liquor
Well,
license.
Softensville,
Is everybody like-
Softness beer, we,
the community club's got the license, right?
for the, Banjo Beer Night and for the Softness Beer, they're operating under their liquor license.
Well, it's gonna be the process, like the yacht club.
Yacht Club,
Yeah,
does
that's it.
have one-day licenses, yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mhm. If somebody wants to throw an event here and rent the park, then they have to pay the daily fee as well, if they're serving alcohol, and they get the insurance and stuff like that. Is that why we did it at $100, so we have to make sure they apply to the
We
insurance?
only require that they pay the insurance, we usually don't, if it's a resident, we usually don't enforce that
Okay,
fee.
okay.
We make sure that they have the dram shop on their homeowners and that they're
Gotcha.
covered in the village for the liability.
And Lloyd's of London, or something, they gotta get extra out to that one-day policy. Okay. They're using village property.
So I don't think there's any harm in looking at those fees and making them in line, because
Yeah. So what do you guys wanna propose on the daily permit, Class C?
I like the Class C to be 250, more like McHenry and Spring Grove, and Mary Lou's idea of the $50 per event.
Yeah, I like that too.
That's class E.
Yes, Class C.
Class E, yeah, that'd be the same thing that Huntley's doing.
Okay.
Yeah, I like that too.
For Class C, okay. Daily permit then, what do you guys wanna do with that? Is, you're suggesting the $50, the daily permit fee too for like a not-for-profit then too, because you're doing $50
Yeah,
for Class
that's
C?
good.
Yeah, so it kind of falls in line with
have we
everything
had
you're trying
any
to do.
objection from anybody for the $100 a day?
Right, that's,
Yeah, I was thinking
I
that
don't
too.
think it's
Again,
Because you're getting, that's what we talk about in finance, because these were set in here, and people, obviously, nobody's using 1,000, but people are paying 100, and we haven't heard any complaints, that's why you said just touch it, but that was the question, we didn't look at it.
And then as far as the other recommended increases, I think everybody's in.
Yeah, I think so.
So we got to make a motion, right, Ed?
You're the finance guy.
I'll make the motion, but I just want to get the nods on the daily permit, is it gonna leave it at 100 or change it to 50, so before I make the motion.
I'd like to leave it at
I'd
100.
leave it. Yeah, nobody's really complaining.
Right.
Okay, so then I'd like to make a motion on the classification of licenses, daily permits, and numbers and fees for the liquor license. So Class A would go up to 1,700, Class A1 would go up to 2,000 from 1,500, Class B would go to 1,250 up from 1,000, Class C would remain at 500, the daily permit would remain at 100, Class E we would change from 1,000 to 250 plus $50 for the daily fee.
Per event.
Per event.
Per event, thank you.
Per event.
Second?
Second.
Okay, motion by Trustee Clumstein, second by trustee Frost, okay. On the roll. Any other further discussion on the motion? With there being none, trustee Hutchison?
Aye.
Trustee Curry?
Aye.
Trustee Hagan?
Aye.
Trustee Frost?
Aye.
And trustee Clumstein?
Aye.
Motion carried. Okay, committee reports we've already covered. Any other concerns that anybody would want to bring up?
Do we need to talk about the...
Trick or treat? Trick or treat?
Tom, do you want to bring that up, Tom, or are we going to take it?
I'm okay with bringing it up. I mean, I think it's something that we need to process a little bit as well. We got a while till Halloween here, but, and the results were in the packets. So everybody, I'm sure, saw that. The committee discussed the results of the survey, and we took a vote in the committee. 3 people on River Terrace abstained because they don't get trick-or-treaters, they don't have kids, and et cetera, et cetera. So the 6 remaining people that voted, it was a 5-to-1 vote that they would want to have trick-or-treating on that Sunday prior to Halloween. So, you know, we've got the Community Affairs Committee that would prefer to have it on the Sunday before. We've got a survey that came in at 58% in favor of going back to the day of Halloween. You know, a lot of social media back and forth about pros and cons. So, you know, it's a hot topic.
It is.
Well, that's the biggest problem we had, like Tom and I discussed, is Halloween, and we don't have a lot of big problems. So anyways,
Right.
I would like to see the minutes from your discussion at Community Affairs. We have the survey, and then we make a decision, and that's the way it is. I don't think it's something that we got to spend hours and hours and hours what's going to happen on Halloween.
Could be some good debate.
So, let's see what their concerns was, weigh all the concerns, and we'll go from there.
Sounds good.
You know? Go ahead. Mary Lou, what?
I just said, the whole issue is some people want it on Sunday before the Halloween instead of just the Halloween.
Right.
Correct.
Which is how we did it, so that's how we did it this year, and so people either loved it or hated it, so.
I don't like it. Keep it on Halloween.
We could be your hours in the
Yeah,
debate.
see, I like the Sundays.
You like Sundays.
I really like the Sundays.
That's where we are. And a big, I think that if you talk to people, the big concern came from the fact that you have the whole school district, and Johnsburg's doing it on Sunday, and the whole school district's not part of it. If we could get everybody to do it on Sunday, I think everybody would probably be happy with it, except the ghosts that want it on Halloween. I mean, you're not gonna change those people's mind. So, anyways, that's where it's at, you know.
Hot topic.
It is, well, you'll see it.
But I think the worst thing is, that's the worst problem we got. We can come to a conclusion, and that's the way it's gonna be, you know? So.
Talk about waste management, they'll all forget Halloween.
I agree with that.
And you'll see it in the minutes, but, you know, basically the pros of it being that Sunday are the people that normally don't get to trick or treat with their kids, or are trying to rush home to get to trick or treat with their kids, or are worried about, the traffic, you know, in the neighborhoods, people coming home from work. They're the ones that appreciated it being that Sunday before. Other people, I think, are Halloween purists that, you know, want to be protected by their
Well, I know we had,
you know, on that night, you know, so I don't know.
I know we,
All over.
in my neighborhood, had more people on Sunday than I've ever had since I lived there. But we did have people on Halloween too. Now, I don't really care if they come on Halloween or Sunday. You know, I mean, it's still another day. I don't know if it created any issues for Keith, but,
Everything's an issue for Keith.
no, Keith's always happy.
Yeah, sure.
See, he's not gonna say.
Keith, was there-
I think we should do it both days.
or something on Sunday, I talked to Tom about this, like a trunk or treat kind of thing at the village or something like that. Some other churches do that and stuff, and
You
then,
have trunk or treat at the Moose.
right, or something like that on a Sunday, and then they have traditional Halloween trick or treating, something to make everybody happy if we can, so, I mean.
It was
More
a
the
pretty
merrier,
big,
right.
pretty
Very
big
low.
majority that wanted on Halloween, so.
50.
I was just saying, St. John's did a wonderful thing, if you remember, Halloween Fun Night.
Yep.
It's always on Friday night before Halloween, so rain or shine, it didn't matter because it was indoors in the gym for the kids.
Yep.
And it was always a good event.
And that was a huge event, they did a big fundraiser, and that was always a good thing, and then you had the regular Halloween.
I think there's a bigger concern all the time when it's during the week, from my standpoint, of half the people in this village, or more than half, are blue-collar workers that are working, and they're not even home. It starts at 3 o'clock, and it's over at 7 o'clock, you know? So, there's a concern there of parents not being home to go out with their kids. Don't know if it's justified or not, but I'm sure that came up when your discussion at the,
Absolutely.
so I'd like to see the minutes from Community Affairs, weigh all the issues, and, we'll make a decision, and whether it's Thursday night or Saturday night, doesn't really matter to me. I'm not chasing kids around anymore. I think from a safety standpoint, I understand.
Sunday's easier.
Sunday's easier.
During the daylight.
Okay. Keith, any comment? No? Don't say that. Okay. Anything else? Tim? Anything? Rick? Counselor? I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Motion by trustee Curry, seconded by trustee Okay.
Yeah, yours is probably the only.
On the roll, trustee Hutchinson, trustee Curry, trustee Hagan, trustee Frost, trustee Clemson.
Aye.
Motion carried.